Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group and Relationship Marketing System, and this is
Janelle Atchison, Project Manager for Now Marketing Group.
And today we want to talk to you about what you can do when planning to either create a new website or revamp an old one. Just some best practices, some things you may or may not have thought about, and kind of some pitfalls to avoid. So I know we've worked on lots of websites together here at Now Marketing Group, and we've done quite a bit with working with clients on trying to plan for creating either their first time website or just doing a revamp, or maybe, just a complete, just new direction with their website or add-on. Yeah. So let's start off and maybe help people understand on first, when creating a website, what are some things that they should first start planning for?
Well, I think one of the big things they really need to think about when starting to plan for a new website or a revamped website is, what are they trying to get out as their message? What do they want to offer their audience on the site?
Right.
Everything from talking about their history and their mission and their core values to what their services or offerings are going to be on the site, and really mapping out what it is they want to give their potential customers that are visiting them on the site.
Yeah, I know we kind of start off with the most boring stuff first with clients. They get so excited. They're like, yay, we're getting a new website. Yes. And then we're like, awesome, you don't get to see anything cool until we plan out your personas, like who you're trying to target, your content, what your message is on each of your content.
Right.
So we really start off, we actually use like Google Sites. I don't know if anybody's used it out there, but google.com/sites, and allows you to start mind mapping almost your pages. So like what you're going to have on each page of your website, what is kind of the flow of the whole site, so you can build your whole site map there. Mm-hmm. And then we really work there with planning the content. So we say, this is what this page is going to say, and let's really focus on the quality content, because your design's going to change if done right. They say every 2 years you should really update your design. I mean, you can do it more than that or whatever, but at least every 2 years the design should change. Mm-hmm. But not to get so wrapped up in the pretty like bells and whistles on the website that then people are like, this looks great, but what am I doing here when they go to your website?
Yeah.
So we really work with the content piece of it. But what do you find is kind of the struggle or the successes with clients when they're planning out that piece of it?
I think people get stuck on what to say. They don't know. They know their company, they know their business and their products, but how do they say it? So I think for them, a lot of times it's just, how do I convey what I want to say on the site? How do I put that together and make it conversational?
Yeah, and that's conversational is a good word for that.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to interact with your audience. You want to conversate with them on the site and get them interacting with you, not just talking at them. So that's one of the things I think that clients struggle with the most is, how do I say what I want to say on the site and make it good quality content?
Right, because they're experts, and you're experts at what you do. That's why you have your website and your business. But the biggest thing is now is not having the brochure websites like, we Smith and Company has been da-da-da-da-da since such and such time, and call us for a quote. It's you really have to be conversational, like you said, and talk with people and let them know, my business is here to solve XYZ problems and help you reach XYZ goals. Mm-hmm. And especially now that we've seen such a huge drastic shift in search engine optimization with the Hummingbird, the Penguin, and the Panda updates, which have now all been a larger weight been placed on quality content. Like the link building and all that's okay, but it's really a huge emphasis on user-facing content that's helping solve problems. And that's what's going to jump websites to a more aggressive, first page of Google approach, is that user-facing content and having good quality content. Exactly. So mapping it out, like you said, conversational. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah. I often ask clients, what are some of the questions you get about your business? What do people ask and want to know about the services that you offer? And that's usually a good starting point to get the conversation rolling and get the content to start flowing. Because if I have a question about your service and your client or your customers have the same questions, let's answer those. Let's address that, because that's engaging and that's giving the people what they want, basically.
Right. And the questions, answering those questions and solving those problems. And then what are some other things that you work with them on and also having on the website? Like for if somebody's going there and they're wanting their experience to be, I want these questions answered, but then what else do we work with them on, like as a next step of getting them kind of deeper into who that company is?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times it's hard to get people past. So we get past the content and we feel really good about the content, but now what? Now, how do we engage even further with the client?
Right.
And so that's where we start to use the calls to action, and we start to implement a plan to get them moved in from just browsing our site to actually interacting with us, with the company, and to start generating those leads for the clients and getting that customer base built out for them.
Right. So, once we map out the content, then we use Google Sites, start mapping out the content, and then we say, okay, now what is going to be the step? What kind of experience is the person wanting? Are they going to want to learn a little bit more to start building up that relationship? And what are your goals with having this website up there? Are you wanting people to call you or get into your database so you can start nurturing those leads? So we work with them on creating that web presence and those calls to action with downloads, like value-added downloads and trust-building content, so they can download the top 10 things you need to know before buying a home, or how to increase the resale value of your home, or whatever that may be for real estate company, for example, and having them fill out the form and then getting people in the database.
Yes.
So once that content's all built out, then I know we work a lot on finding what kind of solutions are going to use to manage it ongoing.
Exactly. So once we get the content worked out and we get that beautiful design in place and we get all of those things lined up and you have this beautiful site, now it's time to start measuring the success of your site. So, what are some tools that we use to help them measure that success?
Yeah, I know like Google Analytics is a free tool and it tells you a lot. And now they have the demographics kind of built in and all of that. So setting up like Google Analytics, Google Webmasters tools, all of which are free. You can connect them if you use WordPress into the back end of your site even. Like you can have it right in your dashboard when they log in, and making sure that that's in there. SEO Yoast is an amazing free tool and helps you with your search engine optimization, measuring your success on your pages. And we add that in last because we don't want people to get so caught up on, if any of you that use SEO Yoast, turning the light green, and you'll know what that means if you download it. But really writing to a person, not to the search engine first. Yep. So we do add that in last, but it's a very helpful tool to measure, do you have your full meta description? Do you have your alt text and, everything? Do you have your keyword focus? And then, adding that analytics in to make sure that you're staying on track. You know how many website visitors you're having, how many are converting, and your Webmasters tools, if there's a problem or an issue, and you've submitted your sitemap to Google, you've submitted your time, they know your speed load test because, you can get graded on that stuff by Google. Right. So having those tools for measuring success. Of course, we use HubSpot. There's several tools out there. We actually have a list of them on our website of tools that we would recommend, which we'll have in the notes below. But those are all huge factors that play into knowing whether your website's a flop or not, honestly, or what's working
performing for you. Is it working for you? Because that's ultimately what you want it to do, is be working for you.
Yeah, and you continue to improve it. So if this page is not getting the traffic that we're wanting, or this download is not converting, change it up. But don't wait, a year. You can change it up after 90 days if it's not working. You've put an aggressive campaign to promoting your website, but that page just isn't performing. The good thing is now
exactly,
and you can change it up.
Yep.
But then being able to change it up, I think that's kind of the other thing that clients when they're building a website and they're getting everything going. So we have the content planned out. It's stellar. We have the downloads. We have a lead nurturing system in place to where, if they're filling out a form, we make sure we've selected one that's going to be right for our business. We have our measuring tools in place from there. We know that our search engine optimization is where it needs to be. And now we go live. Okay. Now what's that other piece that with developing a new website or things that clients maybe something to think about?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are a little hesitant to go live, or they're overly excited to go live. There's kind of both sides of it. Right. One thing to think about is once you do go live is that although we've put all of these amazing tools in place to make your site work and perform for you, you have to remember that it's not on autopilot. You do still need to be maintaining and working and checking those analytics and that performance and your content to make sure that it is drawing in the people that you want it to draw in and giving that good quality content that they're looking for.
Right. And have somebody in-house that can either in-house or somebody that you trust that can update it successfully, because you know, especially if you're on like a content management system like WordPress or, you know, Joomla or Drupal or whatever it may be, they get outdated, and they do, you know, there's pros and cons to having it. You know, if you're on HubSpot, you don't really have to worry about it. Thank God for clients that go on that. We don't have to worry about it. It's taken care of. But the client, you know, if you have a CMS where you need to update it to the newest version, you have to make sure you have somebody that's skilled to do so. So you need to keep a backup of your website. You can do it on your own if you feel comfortable, or just make sure that you have somebody checking it so you don't have any security risks at all. There is some sites out there that'll help you like track and keep your site secure. We use like AskMit, which will block like the spammed comments. We use Securi, which will definitely help in monitoring and scan this site and make sure that the site's protected. And there's like WordFence, I think is what it's called. WordFence. It's like defense, but with word in the beginning of it. And there's several others that we'll link to a blog with some helpful ones that we've found online to make sure that your site stays protected. The big thing is, you know, just being good with your password. Make sure you change it frequently to longer,
More complex.
12 characters, numbers, letters, exclamation points, whatever it may be, in there, and not sharing with anyone. And then just keeping on top of it. Know what's going on your website. Test it out. Try your buttons. Go on your website. Make sure that you're continuing to go back and make sure that it's working for you. We will make sure that we linked to more helpful tips when creating a website and maintaining it. Also some links to some cool apps that you can use to make your website just stand out and be top notch. But thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing more helpful tips with you next week.